All right, everybody. Welcome to episode. Crap, I have to write it down because I can never remember. T-Bone, I think you're a distinguished episode 50 guest.
Awesome.
Just happened to be that. I'm Michael Lee. I'm here with the beautiful Kevin Knighton, who's always has his beard on point as we discuss every week. I'm not even going to talk about his beard this week. I'm just going to let that ride. And we've got our longtime buddy, one of the best guys in the industry. I say that probably maybe the best guy in the industry. I'm not trying to blow his head up too big on this podcast, but our good friend, Travis T-Bone Turner. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, guys. I certainly appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's good to talk face to face. Been a while.
I know that's right. I mean, between, COVID killed trade shows for a while, and then, you've had a little bit going on here in the last year or so, and we'll hit on that in a second. But it's definitely good to see you, man. And I mean, we talked about before we started recording here, podcasts, and that we kind of all just do them all every invite we get. But I do really appreciate you taking time to be on here with us, man.
Oh yeah, my pleasure, man. It's always I think, before we hit the record button, I think we kind of summed it up, especially within our industry. It's basically a computerized campfire. And I kind of jump at the chance. Most every podcast I do is outdoor related. And, whether you're talking to somebody across the country or wherever you're at, it's just like, hey man, we're getting to see how each other's culture is, check in on everybody's family, make sure they're doing good, talk about a few things that are, politics and stuff. And at the end of the day, it's like we said, it's a computerized campfire. And there ain't no better way to celebrate hunting and outdoors and stuff than a good old hunting campfire. So no, I'm glad to be on here. My pleasure.
Right on, brother. Well, first off, like we ask everybody, where you at? What you doing?
Well, right now I'm in my archery shop down here in my basement, the old what we call the dojo, and been piddling on a few bows this morning, and just been at home a bunch. Actually, I'm just waiting on my prosthetic leg. I had the idea of when you go get a prosthetic leg, like when I was in the hospital back in February or whatever, it's just like, oh yeah, you just go get fitted, just like buying a pair of Nikes. You just go in there and pick them out, get a little sized up, but it's a process, man. And you got to get fitted. And I've had to go like 2 or 3 times to fitting and changes. And then they take and work on it and mold it and carve it and do all kinds of things. So, you got to get it fit the exact length, and the cup needs to be the right size of the boot for your stump. And so it's kind of a hurry up and wait type process. But all the checkups and stuff with the doctors as far as cancer and everything like that, everything that we know, they don't never like to say cancer free because that just freaks them out. But with everything that we know and all the things that you can measure to see if you got cancer, I'm cancer free in this chapter of me having microfibrosarcoma should be done. I mean, I lost my right leg, and they took a section of my lung and a nodule out of my lung and a credit card size chunk of my left lung. So everything should be a-okay now as far as cancer goes. I just need to work on getting this prosthetic leg and learning to hobble around on it, and so I can get my mobility back like that. Right now I'm in a walker and a wheelchair, so which is good. I mean, it's good, but man, having a little bit more mobility and it's gonna make it a lot easier having a prosthetic leg.
Well, that's man. Go ahead, Kevin.
I just going to tell you, Travis, I know, you said it's a process waiting on the prosthetic and everything, but your friends over there, them Cineground boys, I guarantee you give them a 4x4 and a Dremel tool, they'll have you something whipped up to get you by till they get that real one made.
Man, you're right. Man, Anthony and his son Memphis, they've been they only live about 10 miles from me. They are great guys, and they come over here, and them along with my best friend Brian, they put me a ramp so I can get out the back of the house, and I get downstairs. I can't go down the downstairs no more, so I got to go out with the wheelchair, go down the ramp and around. So no, him and Anthony, Brian, and Memphis, yeah, they've really done a lot around here. Them are good boys. I swear they are.
Well, they got you where you can at least go down to the pond and go fishing, right?
Absolutely. I can get out in the yard. I can shoot my bow. I I can go fishing. I can jump on the 4-wheeler. Well, not jump, but I can transfer over to the 4-wheeler. And that was a big hurdle. I mean, honestly, through this whole thing, guys, I've been, through all the time I've had to sit and think, everybody thinks like, man, when you get better, well, you need to come out here and go moose hunting, and you need to do this, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, that sounds great. And, everybody just thinks you're hyper focused on hunting. But if I got a list of things I'm looking forward to doing or being able to do or get back to do, hunting's about probably 4 or 5 down on the list. I want to get back in my skid steer and climb up on my tractor. And I'm really missing, I know a lot of people may, I hope they feel like I do, but I can't even get on my 0-turn mower right now. And I'm dying to cut my grass. I love cutting grass. So, those three, it's therapeutic being on those things. Y'all guys know, whenever you cutting grass or on a tractor or, working outside and stuff, it's just so therapeutic. So I'm so looking forward to being able to get back on those things. And it's going to take that prosthetic leg to do it. So either that or a light duty or a heavy duty crane, one of those two.
Well, I didn't know if, like, with you going in and getting this new leg and stuff, if they get you another shoe on the other side, maybe you get about 6 inches taller or something, so you get something out of this thing, right?
Yeah. I don't need no more height. I'm happy with my height, but a little lighter would be helpful if there was some way to lighten me up. Yeah, and I thought that cutting my leg off, I was going. They said my leg weighed, what they cut off weighed 37 pounds. They did tell me that.
Oh wow.
And I thought, well, at least I lost a little weight, just me being me. And then come to find out that prosthetic leg, I bet it weighs close to that. It's heavy, man. I'm telling you, it's got to be close to 25, 30 pounds. So I'm like, man, I didn't gain nothing there.
Well, you net it out though. See, that's
right.
Removable. Yeah, it's all right.
Yep. 1 minute I'm heavy and 1 minute I'm a little lighter. So
you need to get one of them ones like I've seen them have. Looks like they got a rear spring off of an old Ford pickup truck down there for running. Things.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't make them for my size. We've already, when people think about prosthetics and people who are amputees, that's what you always think of, the people that are running but there's a lot more to it than just that. I promise you that. So, that's only about the top 5% on them. Most everybody else is just proud to have it and be able to walk, 500 yards a day.
I thought you might just show up at a trade show one day, have all pirate leg, just for you being you and coming out real big.
Yeah. I think as all the walking and standing we do on that, I don't know that I don't know that I'll be at a prosthetic leg. I'll be at a trade show with a prosthetic leg. I may be wheelchairing it at the trade shows.
We'll get you one of them like old Josh Carney's got, with the big tracks on it and all that stuff. And see, then what would happen is you could just put a little wagon behind you, and people like me and Kevin, we would pay just to have a ride around those trade shows. So
that's right.
We're on to something now. I like this.
I might have to do that. That might be something for sure.
That's awesome, man.
I got a funny story about Josh Carney and that track chair that he has. Is it was at the ATA and he was there, and I can't remember if it was his dog that he had or there was somebody there that walked up in the group that had a dog, but he's sitting there with the track chair and we're talking, and 10 minutes in, well, somehow that dog's tail got laid over there in that track, and he took off or tried to move around to reposition, and that tail went up through that sprocket on one of them sprockets. Ooh. And that dog just yelled like nobody's business. And he stopped when it was mid sprocket. So it wasn't just like the dog could run out and get his tail out. He was stuck. I mean, it was like he was tied to that sprocket. And that dog's going, ape poop crazy. And we finally realized, we all, banded together to help, and he finally realized what was going on. Man, I felt horrible for that dog, but man, he was screaming like nobody's business.
Oh, man.
And since then, the dog has a prosthetic tail. So.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. They renamed him Nubby.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
Yeah, that's right.
Always come up a little short, but oh man. Well, buddy, I mean, we know you've been through a lot, and we hate that for you, but I know, just like you said, I mean, I think anytime we go through any traumatic experience in life, and this kind of, cream of the crop as far as that goes for a personal experience. And hopefully nobody ever has to go through it, but it seems like to me, you kind of really check things in, you realize what's important. And just like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head, even in what we do, which hunting is very important to all of us. But at the end of the day, your priorities, get lined back up where, God, family, and things like that really get to put into perspective as far as, the importance of things. Just like you said, I mean, as far as what you want to get back to doing, get back on the tractor and the skid steer and the lawnmower. I mean, I think we all should do that without having to go through anything like that. I mean, we really need to check ourselves on a regular basis because, we have a right to hunt, and it's a privilege at sometimes, depending on your situation. But I think we do get caught up in putting all of our eggs in the basket of what we want to do and not what we need to do.
Or we take for granted the things that we get to do.
Yeah.
Like it can be taken away from you. Things that like I'm just now learning back to drive. I got hand controls on my trucks and stuff, and I just started that like last week, and so I haven't driven. So you don't think too much about that, but I can drive now. I got hand controls, but it makes you think about like the simple things. Like, I mean, this is stupid, like being able to drive through the Dairy Queen drive-through and get an ice cream. It takes some major planning when you can't drive, and you got to ask people to help. And it's when you're an independent person, which I feel like I was or I am, it just kills you to be able to have to ask people to do silly things for you. Most people are way overwhelming, and would love to help you and stuff, but it bothers you, to have to ask for that kind of thing. And then you take for granted, like I said, driving or just being able to do things. And I mean, I can see where, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm proud of myself for being so strong through this whole thing. And before I got my leg amputated, I knew that that's what was going to happen. In October, when I found out it was cancer and started reading up on it, I knew that, the doctors never would say that to begin with. They said, well, wait just a minute, let's just wait and see. They give you a lot of hope, and I was hopeful too, but in the back of my head, I'd already planted that seed. I'm like, I'm fixing to lose my leg. So I had to go 3 or 4 months of, gearing myself up to this is how it's going to be. So, and I did, I was proud of myself for like, here's the struggle we're fixing to hit. So, get ready. So me and my wife really did a good job of that. But, even when it gets taken away from you, it's like, it's here now, and it's real easy to have some really bad days. And I'm not going to say, I've had a few, really my lip poked out days. It's like, I'm not selfishly saying or spoiled by saying, why me? I'm not saying that. I'm just like nothing is taken away dream wise. It really is not. Meaning like at this late in life, and I'd say not late in life. Hopefully I still got some more living to do for sure. But when I say this late in life, I'm getting towards the last chapter. So I'm saying, man, like I've said in other podcasts, I'm sure y'all have seen, but I'm like, I've already outlived my dreams. If you'd asked me when I was in my 20s, I would have never have dreamed that I would have been this far or got this far in what I consider a career in a passion. Making a career out of a passion. So I mean that if I don't ever kill another deer or anything, I've already, done it. So I don't mean that to be anti chase your dreams. I mean that just to be humbled and to be appreciative and not take for granted the little things, meaning like just being able to get up in the middle of the night and walk to the bathroom to take a leak. It's a process now. So it's real easy to think like, man, that guy, well, he sure is getting around good on his leg, but there's a lot to that, meaning there's a lot of struggles that go with it. So I have a lot more, like I always did. I knew it was hard just because I've been big all my life, so it's always been a little bit more challenging just doing things being big. So I've always done it, but now it take it to a next level. But, all of our, I don't like to say wounded warriors, but wounded heroes and veterans, that have had trouble. And we all have friends that are that way, and we know them. I have a newfound respect, I already did, but it's deeper now for, what they did, that they did all this, not just that, I didn't ask for cancer, but they went into battle knowing this probably could happen for our country. So I got a found respect for any amputee, but especially our veterans.
No doubt about that. I mean, we've been lucky enough to go on a few hunts and take some of those guys. And we took a guy several years ago now, I say probably 3 or 4. And I mean, he didn't have either leg. He had his hands and everything, but actually he had one hand, the other hand he didn't. But just to watch this guy, and he had to battle some demons. I mean, when he got, he had got blown up basically. And he had to go through the whole process of learning how to do this and this, as you're well aware of. And even on a greater level, he had to heal up from an explosion first, and then had to learn, all right, how do I use my left hand now? And then how, both legs and all that stuff. But to watch him, when we took him hunting, I mean, it was go, go, go. Like this, you could tell he had that drive, he had that desire, but he talked about how he was in a dark place and, kind of went down the path of, the wrong habits kicking in to deal with it and coming through all that. But those guys, like you said, I mean, nobody in any situation that has to deal with these kind of things asks for it. It's just what God wants you to go through in your life to turn out. And but you hit the nail on the head, man. When you spend some time with guys like that done that for our country, that gives you hopefully a new respect on them, our military, their mindset, and what we could all do to get back to them.
That's right. You're exactly right. So yeah, I mean, it's real easy to get dark, but I've really fought hard to try to stay positive and look at all that I do have. So, and that keeps you grounded, and, just being able to do little things each day is good. So, no, I'm overall, I mean, yeah, we all got poopy days, even when you got both legs, you know what I mean? Y'all have days where you poke out and you don't want to roll out of bed, but it's the good days outweigh the bad days for sure.
There's no doubt. We're all fortunate, like you said, hit the nail on the head. I mean, Kevin and I both, when we started this in our mid-20s, I mean, there's no way I would have ever thought that we would be sitting here talking to you doing a podcast. I mean, that's just, we've all been blessed more than we deserve. Just you hit the nail on the head, though. I mean, and I like what you said. I mean, we're getting older. We're not at the end, but we're accepting the fact that we're, down the road a good ways. But with all that being said, I've said it before, if I don't kill another deer, another turkey, I'm not going to like it, but I'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good way to look at it. I mean, so many people, they feel like they need to conquer the world and kill every species there is out there. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. But there's different levels of passion and different levels of what you get out of the outdoors. And honestly, I've got to where, like, when we go to Kansas, I got my own farm out there and stuff. When we're out there, I get just as much gratification out of, like, kind of guiding other people, taking them to the stand. I get so into that, like, in watching their excitement and, and people around here, just, I like being a part of it. I ain't saying I want to go to work in an outfitter, because some of them guides, man, they got it rough. But if they need a guy to drop people off out in the evenings, and not, I don't want to drop nobody off in the mornings. I don't want to get up early like that. But if they need somebody to drop them off in the evenings, and, let me be the PR guy around camp to pump people up about what we got. I'm that guy. I'm your PR guy, to make everybody have a good time in camp. I love that. Gosh, it feels good.
That's what I started. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna say you could even be the guy, you know, that when they get there that tells everybody, "Oh man, y'all should have been here last week. It was hot."
Exactly. I mean, we've all heard it enough. We all heard it enough. I've got that down. Yeah, absolutely. Golly, man, weather's just off. Last week was awesome, man. And it's a shame y'all can't stay past Sunday because next week is looking right.
See, and that's what I started doing. As I got older, I just started guiding Kevin more and just telling him where to go and stuff like that. That's just kind of what.
Yeah, I appreciate Uncle Michael, you know, helping me get out there after him.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Travis, and you respect this. We were over turkey hunting open day in Georgia on our lease, and Kevin brought his son Kyler. Now Kyler is a killer. I mean, that's just he's stone cold. He has just laid out turkeys since he was about this tall. I think Kevin started letting him shoot turkeys, and so he takes him over there. And opening morning, we go out. Kevin and his son Kyler go out. Me and my dad, Big Mike, we go out. And I've over the years I have to negotiate with my dad when I go hunting, and I have to say, all right, Dad, if you film me on this one, I'll film you on like the next two. Okay, like it's a I got to make deals with my dad for him to film me.
Yeah, I know.
And we always hunt together on opening day or weekend of turkey season. So, we go out. I have one great hunt right off the roost. He comes in with some hens, hits the food plot, sees the decoys, charges in. I shoot him, high five and all that. And Kevin texts me, gobbler down. So, oh man, yeah, we've killed two this morning. That's awesome. And Kyler had already killed two in Florida. So I think, well, man, Kevin got him one. And then Kevin's like, well, we just had two more come in when they got away. I was like, well, man, y'all all over. I mean, who shot the first one? He's like, Kyler. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. I mean, I respect that. Then we're sitting there eating breakfast, and I'm talking to Kyler, and Kyler's like just normal kid. I'm like, hey man, when you gonna let your dad shoot a turkey? Never. He didn't miss he just didn't even think about it. Never. All right, man. Well, cool. So
yeah,
that's why I have to guide Kevin, because Kevin's got to guide Kyler. I got second hand.
There you go.
Well, and that's my dad and my little boy both. I got them all tagged out in Florida on the same day. They killed 4 turkeys in one morning. So
wow.
I mean, 3 of them was Jake's, but they still dead turkeys and they still got tagged out. So all good.
Exactly. If they were legal, they'll eat good.
As I'm gonna say, Kevin's having a cookout for about 2 weekends, frying turkey at his house. Y'all go on down to Florida, hang out. So,
but after that, then I could turkey hunt because I had to get them taken care of.
Yeah, about mid-April, Kevin gets to start hunting.
I think that's what Waddell didn't even kill a turkey in Georgia this year. He the places he has to hunt, like his farm there, it's a big farm. I think it's like right at 800 acres, and then he has a lease as well. And that we haven't been seeing, or he hasn't been seeing that many turkeys around his place. So he guides all his family, and Lord knows he's got a bunch of kids. So if he's having to guide each one of his kids, that takes a toll on the turkeys. But I think he decided that he was going to let his wife and a couple of his kids kill turkeys, and then he decided not to kill any. So, and for Waddell, that's hard, man. I'm telling you. He's mad at him. He's mad at him.
He is right up there with one of the. He's probably killed more turkeys than EHD's killed whitetails, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of whitetails, we transitioned this thing a little bit. If anybody, unless they've been under a rock and don't know T-Bone and what his passion is, it's those things hanging up behind him back there. There's about 37 bows back there for everybody that's listening. But this is that time of year where everybody's kind of getting into the summertime, and a lot of guys like us, like you said, we're out trying to mow and get our food plots situated and ready for fall, and we're feeding deer, doing those kind of things, and shooting your bow probably should be right up there in one of those things to do. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to think there's a lot of people that like to shoot all year long, but it seems like it comes in stages. It's like turkey season's in, some people are bow fishing or what have you, and then like it seems like Memorial Day, it's like, okay, turkey season's over with, I need to start practicing some. So it seems like some people, or start practicing and getting ready and shopping and looking at the new gear. And then really around July 4th, especially when the trail cam pictures, people are putting stuff out in June and July, the deer are starting to really show their racks. And, that really triggers. It's like, okay, July's here. I've already taken care of the vacation with the family. We've had, the kids are out of school. July 4th's here. The family don't want to spend no more money. I'm going to get to going on, shooting your bow. So now is the perfect time, to start getting gear up. If you're going to change out accessory on your bow, or if it's time for a new bow, now's the time to do so. Go to your local archer shop, talk to those guys, and see exactly what accessories you may want to put on there, and basically just get to shooting. I'd rather somebody just take, 20 shots a day that really, or every other day, and pour your heart and soul in it. Don't feel like you got to get out there and sling 60, 80 arrows. 20 shots will do it. And sometimes even less than that, if you're kind of tuned, there for a while. I haven't done it here in the last year, but I would like step out the back door, shoot like 5 or 6 arrows into the target, and then maybe 5 or 6 in the evening. Just pour your heart and soul into it, and you get a lot from that, because at the end of the day, once you get your muscle memory down, you're not going to get no warm-up shots in a tree stand. So those guys that say, man, I got to shooting real good, I shot about 50 shots, man, I started feeling it. Well, you ain't gonna get to do that on a deer, man. You need to be able to shoot one cold. You need to be a stone cold killer. So pour your heart and soul. They always say practice makes perfect, but I always say perfect practice makes perfect. So pour your heart and soul. Just don't fire arrows down range, because basically all you're doing is just like getting reps at the gym, so, which is decent, but if you ain't firing quality, well thought out shots down range, you're not gonna be climbing the ladder of perfection, so to speak. So yeah, now's the perfect time to yank a bow out, or go to the store, let the archery shop pop open that case, see if you need new strings, get them strings put on now so they can be stretched and shot in, ready to roll. There's a lot of reasons to at least start, romancing the bow a little bit. So now's the time.
What I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just gonna say, you hit on something really good there that a lot of people don't think about, is, focusing on that first shot, if you will. If it takes you 5 or 6 shots to remember where your anchor point was supposed to be at, like you said, that ain't gonna work out too good in a tree stand.
No. And a lot of people get focused on speed, and and they worry about, if people would worry about themselves and their shooting and their form as much as they do the equipment, they would be a lot better. Meaning, like, everybody wants to try to buy more accuracy, or this is going to make me more accurate, this is going to, but honestly, time behind the bow is the biggest thing. So developing muscle memory and good form, and squeezing a good shot off, not punching the trigger, and execution, so that you're just like a machine. The only thing you got to worry about is aiming. That's it. That last nanosecond is the last 5 or 6, 7 seconds is just aiming, just pouring that pin right in the side of the deer. So that's what you need to focus on. But really well thought out 5 or 6 shots in the morning, or just pouring your heart in and saying, look, I don't have 20 shots, or I don't have 60 shots. Now, granted, if you get together with the guys on the weekend and y'all are having a barbecue and a shoot fest and a little 3D tournament, and see who can hit the Coke can at 100 yards, if you sling 80 arrows, 100 arrows, 200 arrows that day, that's great. I'm just saying, on the regiment side, on the daily by yourself regiment side, even if it's just you live in an apartment and you just draw the bow back and just at 5 yards shooting inside your apartment, just so that you work everything that you need when you're going to kill zone, just cut an arrow loose. And even if at 5 yards, you can aim pretty hard at 5 yards and, try to hit. I know everybody's done it, shot at 5 yards and tried to hit an arrow hole, but you can stack 5 arrows in an arrow hole, and that helps your confidence, period. If you're at 5 yards and you shoot 5 right in the same arrow hole, it's like, man, you built your confidence.
The old style was you tried to put everything in a pie plate at 20 yards. I can put everything in, a small pie plate at 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin's shooting little Debbie cakes at 5.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that's the way it was? I mean, like everybody, like you can kill a deer if you can hit a small pizza box, and that's the way it was, or like you can hit a paper plate, that, and honestly, I don't know if it's still that way. I think it was Colorado had a proficiency. You had to prove that you could put so many arrows, like 3 out of 5 in at 30 yards or 20 yards in a 9-inch paper plate. And you had to prove that before they'd let you have a license to go hunting.
There's a lot of people who wouldn't get a license in Georgia.
Yeah, I know. But on, to switch gears on that, like me working on people's bows all these years and having a store, and even now I still set up 30 or 40, 50 bows a year for people, but have them come over and, thinking that it's going to be rough to shoot a bow, and they, like they're going to have to practice all the time, and you set it up and you get the bow set up correctly. And that's why it's so important to go to an archery shop to get set up, correctly, because so many people have too long a draw, too heavy a weight draw. I mean, the rest is not set right, but a well-tuned bow and a well-suited and fit bow to you is going to make your experience in archery a whole lot better. So I highly recommend going to a independent retailer that knows that kind of thing. But to get back to my point, to take somebody and set them outside and they're thinking, golly, man, I hope I don't miss a target. And you can tell that they're thinking that way. And then within like 10 shots, they're grouping the size of a baseball or softball at 20 yards. And they're just like overjoyed. It's almost like, wow, I'm going to be able to do this. This is going to be a fun experience, where they had all that anxiety and dread coming up to it. And then we took the right steps to fit them right, to get them the right weight, to get the right draw length, their bow's well tuned. We selected the right arrow. We go outside and put that to use and talk them through some just basic lessons and let them fill it out. And then they're shooting and grouping real good, man, and see their smile on their face, and the way that they have a joy for that is well, it's rewarding for me, but it certainly knows it's like I can pat them on the butt when they're leaving and say, hey, have a good hunt, little camper. I mean, it's like there's another one going off into the world. They're on the right track. So and I know that a lot of the independent retailers and pro shops out there feel the exact same way.
Yeah, everybody asks us and everything we do, like, what bow do I need? What bow do I need? Well, you need the bow that fits you, that you can shoot good. That,
yeah.
I'm not going to tell you to shoot, whatever brand X, Y, or Z. I mean, if it's what I shoot and I can recommend it for you, go shoot one. But if, that's not the one that feels good to you, then go down the line until you find the right one. I think that's a lot of people, they get bows. Well, my buddy gave me this one, or I got a good deal on this one, and they try to make it work. And I'm not saying that's not possible, but you know how it is. If somebody gets one of my bows that's a 31-inch draw, that's a 28-inch draw, what they are, they're going to have their ear taken off, number one, if they really draw all the way back. But that they're going to fight through getting that thing set up right. You can change modules out, and change string cables and do everything you need to do to get that thing set up. But it's easier to start out right than it is to kind of piece it together.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many good deals on, you can see on eBay and, going to pawn shops and stuff. But if you're not well versed and know exactly what you're buying, you could buy something that you're stuck with that doesn't fit you. That's why in this day and age, I'm kind of proud of it. And that's why me being my background for, nearly 20 years was an independent retailer and a pro shop owner. My heart goes out to them. And I encourage people big time to go to them. And in this day and age, when things like Amazon, and it's easy to shop and click and, have stuff delivered to your house and buy online, and you think you're getting a deal, there's nothing that's ever going to replace the independent retailer. And to everybody listening, I tell them they're going to say, well, man, I saved $30 on the same bow, but I bought it online. But did you really save when you had to go in there and pay that retailer, $50, $75 for a setup fee? We need to make sure that we're supporting those retailers, because it's not like they're trying to gouge you with prices. It's just basically you're paying for an experienced service that they're delivering. And trust me, if you wait out all the knowledge and all the service that you're getting and put a dollar value on that, you're really coming out ahead, seriously, by doing that and saving you time on going down the roads of what I need, how it needs to be fitted, what rest, what type of sight, how to balance the bow stabilizer wise. There's so many things that by supporting your local pro shop that you can gain from that, more so than you're hunting and pecking and shopping, and you think you're going to end up saving $100 on the whole rig, but honestly, paying that retailer, that pro shop, an extra $100, or just because their prices end up being $100, you'll get back it just peace of mind, because you're paying for a service and the use of their range and stuff like that. So it's well worth the few extra dollars it is to buy from a retailer for all the service and knowledge that you're going to get, and from years to come.
The simple fact of the matter is, with archery, you don't have to have an Olympic archer form to be perfect. You have to do the same thing every time to shoot the same spot every time. And, if that retailer can get you set up with the bow fitting you right, if your bow is a half inch too long, it's hard to do the same thing every single time. But if that pro shop can set you up and get you fit right, it makes a world of difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've proven that time and time again. Like with shooting machines, you can have a bow that is not tuned, that's ripping 3 or 4 inches left or right. But you put that same bow, what an untuned bow is, it magnifies the flaws in our form as humans. But you put that untuned bow on a shooting machine, it'll hit the same arrow every time at 20 yards, believe it or not. Now the arrow is going whoo, 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 but it does, like you said, your point, Kevin, it does the same thing every time. And in order to do the same thing every time, you have to be fitted correctly from your pro shop, so that you are fitted, so that you can be as close to a machine as possible.
There you have it. Everybody needs to stop what you're doing right now. Go to your local pro shop, buy a new bow, support them, and all your wildest dreams hunting will come true.
Well, it's a start anyway.
It's a good start. No, I mean, all that's spot on, man. I mean, and I mean, the biggest thing with all that is really to support your local guys and girls, because I mean, without them, like you said, you can't. If you go to a car dealership to buy a new truck or whatever, you're probably going to drive it at least around the block first. You're not going to. I don't know. Nowadays, you can order cars online and they'll show up in your yard. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. So,
I know.
But it's funny how this technology thing that we got is so great that we're able to sit here at the virtual Zoom campfire, but yet, it's kind of pain in the butt too. I'm the world's worst. Amazon shows up at my house literally every day. Between me and my wife, it is, it's not that I don't like to go shopping, but I know what I can buy on Amazon. If I need some more socks, I'll go to Amazon.
Yeah.
But if I need, a bow, I'm not going to go to Amazon.
Yeah. Something that's service oriented. You need to support them. I mean, like golf pro shops, you can't do any of that stuff online. Anything that's service oriented, you need to support local. And then, people are like, nah, I don't need that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and can be stubborn. But I tell you what, you're going to miss them when they're gone. Like when they're not gone and you have to drive an extra 50 miles to go to a pro shop, you're going to be like, oh man, golly, I wish they wouldn't have went out of business. Well, you know why they went out of business? Because you was hunting and pecking online. You didn't support them. So
you was buying Kevin's used stuff off Facebook. Didn't fit
I know it.
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to shut them down.
Yeah, you need to go in there and support them for sure.
You said something that triggered what I wanted to talk about, kind of transition into the next part of this was, kind of passing it on. And I was talking about this with somebody the other day. And what we do, and you've been on outdoor TV and in that, industry side of things as longer than we have. I think Kevin and I, this is our 18th year, I think something like that. Yep. And you've been 20 plus, T-Bone. And we're talking about how technology has changed everything. And of course, you're super active on social media, which I think is a great thing. And we are too. And I think that's a great tool. But with that being said, how do you, just kind of sitting back, and I'm being a little philosophical and nostalgic all at the same time, how do you see the passing it on from our, age group demographic to the next? I mean, I think every kid out there, I say kid, I mean, this is people that are all in their 20s or whatever, and maybe even older, that everybody wants a YouTube channel. I mean, everybody wants to be an influencer, and I'm not knocking anybody. I think it's great that if somebody can go make homemade slime videos and become a millionaire off of it. I mean, that's America to its T, but in what we do in the outdoor space, because once, when Kevin and I started, I think it was 2004 or 5 when our show first went on TV. There was if you ask the networks anyway, there was a long line of people waiting to get on TV. Well, that line's gone, right? I mean, now it's almost like when you watch flipping through the channels, normal TV, where you guys are and we are, it's kind of the tried and true, made it through. We're here, we're still doing our thing, and you don't see a lot of stuff up and coming anymore like you did. Everything's kind of changed to this influencer / YouTube format. How do you see that as far as our industry goes? Just your 30,000 foot overview or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we think about it all the time, in a bunch of different ways, because, I really feel like we, in the past 2 or 3 years, we've started a transition period within the industry, and as not just within the industry, but I notice it in our industry because it's what's in our face. But I mean, it's all over, meaning like, you question how many people are watching TV, how are people watching hunting shows on TV, YouTube, social media, how are they getting there? How are they scratching their itch for entertaining hunting outside? And we at Bone Collector, just as far as like, watching it and thinking about it, we're just kind of sitting back right now. All areas are very important, and we don't know which one is going to, come out in the front, but it seems like it's like a race. We're within a 5 to 10 year transition period, meaning, TV is still important now, but, a lot of people are sitting there going, well, we get more out of YouTube, or we get more out of digital media. It's real important for your digital views. That touches more people, and all of it's important. So we feel like we're blessed to have a good footprint in all of those, and we're just kind of waiting to see where we need to, because we have a decent footprint in all of those, we're just going to continue with all of them and not try to go down one road stronger than the other. We're going to continue on just like we have on, it's real easy to look at the new up and coming, and we need to do that. We need to be on the first and forefront, but there's a lot of guys out there, Billy Joe lunch buckets, that are not savvy as far as, computers and on their phones and stuff like that they look forward to Sunday night at 9:30 watching Bone Collector. I mean, that's the way they want to watch it. They don't DVR it. Their schedules around it, or they want to watch, your show or any other show. I'm just saying that's the way they like to get their entertainment, and they're paying for that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, honey, oh no, we ain't getting your car detailed this week. We got that cable bill coming up. We're gonna watch our hunting shows now, and they'll leave the hunting shows on all the time. So, with that said, I mean, it's real easy within our space to everybody starts buzzing and talking about, you got to go digital, you got to do digital. Well, the numbers show that, TV is still pretty relevant. It's not, digital is something to keep your eyes open to for sure, as well as YouTube and social media. But you got to, luckily I think we're at the age, and I think you agree too. I'm just speaking, all I can speak on is what we as in Bone Collector experience. I think we're pretty relevant. Our age is pretty relevant in all the ages right now. I mean, we're just laying in the bushes and seeing. But you talk about social media, me personally, what I try to do with my personal page is, I don't know, I hope people think that when they think of me as the funny, always have a good time, positive, jolly, big guy. I hope I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. That's who I am. I mean, it's just who I am. I mean, all this doom and gloom and pounding your chest and look what I killed. I'm the best hunter in the world. I don't go for that. I'm happy you killed a big deer, but I'm not going to stroke your ego. You know what I mean? I'm just going to high five you and let's eat some ribs out here by the fire. That's the way I'm going to be. So with that said, I try to have a good mix. I mean, if there is anything as such a strategy on social media, meaning a little bit of personal, so they feel like they know about you, and maybe a little bit about your family, just a little bit of funny, you know what I mean? Just I'm real big on, I like to just share silly stuff, you know what I mean? Just especially on, your stories and stuff. It's just a little 10-second, 15-second clip or something, but it's
I get a big kick out of your stories, T-Bone, every day on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, so you never know what you're going to see, and it's all over the place. It could be, I mean, it just makes you chuckle, makes you smile, move on. And then I hope that I'm known a little bit more for, and I'm proud of the fact of, being an archery guru. I love this, man. I mean, my wife, when we built this downstairs, I mean, I can show y'all, like you look down through there, that goes out the garage door, and I can shoot 25 yards inside all the way down past me into the target right there. So all that's right here we designed this house around that. And my wife said, you sold the store. Why would you, my shop, I used to own a shop years ago. And they said, she said, you're not doing retail anymore. Why are you building like a retail shop in the store? I said, listen, honey, I said, if I dip septic tanks for a living, I'm still gonna, when my time's off, I love building a better mousetrap and working and piddling and helping people out. And this ain't a retail store. It kind of looks like it, but I just, I still kept all my distributorship, my accounts when I had a store, back in 2006. I kept all my accounts open so I can order stuff and get stuff for people. And I do, not like I'm running a store out of it, but man, I get such joy out of just working on bows and, trying to create things. I just love it. So I hope that people tune in for a little bit of stuff I may have learned along the way and they can share to you. And then of course, we talked about the funny stuff, and then, we got to pay the bills. We all know that there's pressure on all of us, like these companies are like, we want this, we want that, we want that. And I hope that I can deliver and do the partners a good job, but not be like a gun to the consumer's head, driving it down their throat. Meaning I'm just going to make mention of, this is what I'm using. This is what I like. This is why I like it. And hopefully we have a good mix there so that everybody, and I guess it's working. I mean, you never know. The only thing you can go by is what what people say. I mean, it's a necessary evil. Coming back to that, it's got to where you got to be on social media. If I had my druthers, I would rather go back to like when I graduated high school in the late 80s, early 90s, no cell phone. I mean, but that ain't gonna happen. I mean, I mean, we can't do that. You can't raise your kids now. Like when I first had Archer, I had Archer, he's almost 17 now. He got his first job. He started working this week. I mean, like my boy's done growed up, and I was like, I'm not gonna let him play video games, and I'm not gonna let this, and he's gonna grow up like I did, and all that. You can't do that. You're actually doing a disservice to your child by doing that, because he's gonna be left behind. And I realized that raising a youngin', that's like, not like I caved in and let him have video games. It's just like, that's his passion, or that's, what a lot of kids do. I realize now, that ain't how I grew up, or that's not how I lived as a kid, but he don't know no better. I mean, he don't know an era where there wasn't a cell phone or a computer. I can remember when there wasn't a computer, or like if I wanted to talk to you, I either call you in the evenings, because I know you're probably outside till dark, or I don't know if you guys are young, probably a lot younger than us, but I wonder if you can remember, you'd have to call somebody in the evening, because you ain't getting them during the day. And there used to be, I can remember when there was no voice recorders. It's like you call and hope you get them. We used to have a phone that was on a party line. I mean,
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah, where we talk to other people. I mean, like, it's like, old lady Smith's on the line. You got to hang up the phone and let her get done with her phone call. So if I had my druthers, I'd like to go back to those days. Or if I wanted to talk to, look, I can't get Michael Lee on the phone. I'm gonna have to write him a letter, and I'd write a letter and mail it, and then I'd wait like 2 weeks for a reply back or something. I mean, there's a lot of times you'd write to companies and you'd have to do that.
Yeah.
So
I sent a letter to Kevin. Kevin called me.
Yeah, exactly. So there's, I mean, I wished, I really honestly wished we could go back to those times, but you can't. You got to adapt, and you got to go with the role. And I feel like, and I'm speaking for you guys as well as anybody that's in this industry or does anything that they're passionate about. You got to pay the bills. Hope people realize that. But at the end of the day, we're entertainers, or we're doing something within the outdoor space that we're passionate about. We're very fortunate. We're not digging a ditch. Not that that's not noble work. We're not, working as an electrician. We're not doing those things. This is what we're doing for a living. So we have to pay the bills, and we're very fortunate to do that. And, I wished it didn't take up so much of my time of the day, but at the end of the day, we're pretty dang lucky to do what we do. So it's not that hard. You just, you factor in, it's like, man, I don't want to have to post this stuff. What's people going to think about it? This, that, and the other. It does run through your mind. And then you think like, got to do it, man. Got to do it. And then, this is the platform we've been given, and this is the message we need to send. And, if there is such thing as a legacy for us, or a spot in, going down as a Hall of Famer of some sort, this is the way I want to be remembered. So I'm just laying down the track work of who I am, what I stand for, and not being somebody that I'm not.
And that's admirable, bro. I mean, and that's the way we should all be, because I mean, sitting in different roles that I sit in and do different things, and especially on the marketing side of things, it is not as common as it used to be, but I think it's a compliment to the people I'm about to mention. But at the same time, it's not the right mentality to have in this industry. Is like, you'd have somebody, send you their media kit and be like, hey, I'm going to be the next Michael Waddell, or we're going to be the next Lee and Tiffany. That's a great comment to, or compliment to Waddell and Lee and Tiffany or whatever. But that's not how you need to approach this industry. You have to go be the next Michael Lee, Kevin Knighton, Travis Turner, and be yourself, and work hard to find your niche, to find what works for you. Just like you, man. I mean, you're a great example, because you've been, quote unquote, T-Bone, the character back on the Realtree Monster Book videos and stuff like that. But you're still yourself, and a positive person, funny, good to be around. I mean, we've hung out plenty of times and stuff, but you made yourself, right? And that's not something you can just go outside and do all of a sudden. It's an evolutionary process for everybody. And I think the thing in this industry where people really get derailed is they get discouraged because you don't just flip that switch and have the success that they think they should have. Because Kevin Knighton may kill a 200-inch deer every year on his own farm that he hunts in Kansas. And he might be the best bow hunter that kills 200-inch deer in Kansas. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's commendable. It's a phenomenal feat. But
I would like to interject, though, that Kevin Knighton is not and does not.
Well, we all knew that. But my point with that is, just because in your mind you're that guy, doesn't mean everybody else wants you to be that guy.
No.
And that's the biggest thing I think from my experience in this industry is be true to yourself and have fun doing what you're doing, and don't work in this industry not with total blinders on, but don't look over here, because if you're doing that, you're turning ahead and you're not staying focused on what you need to be doing and where you're going.
Yeah. To your point, at the end of the day, it's almost like America's Got Talent or American Idol, meaning like you need to be you. And, we've always said this, me and Michael and Nick both have all had this conversation, but the people, be yourself first, because then you don't have to act. You're just who you are. But the people's going to let you know if they like you or not. I mean, no matter how you act, they're going to be able to see through that. They can see through it. They just be yourself. And the barometer is if the people will like you. And even talking to partners and such like that. If you have the power of the people, or you have, if you are one of them, then you're going to have validity with the people. So that's going to speak volumes to your partners, and at the end of the day, people are like, they try to always please their partner, which is, you have to a certain extent, but honestly, the best person to have as somebody, if you're a business owner or a product owner and on your side, is you need to have somebody who speaks to the people, who, moves the needle, not just scratches your itches, invites you on a hunt. And you know what I mean? It's like, okay, look, you're going to give me this big TV contract if I take you on 2 hunts a year. That's not the the correct way to go about it. So if you have the power of the people, that's one, it's honesty, it's legit, there's true validity there, it's not forced, it's not pressured, and the people, will always know if you're truly speaking from the heart and are passionate about, what's going on in your life and everything that you're sharing with them. They can see that it's not fabricated, or, you watch, prime example, I formed an opinion, and this is horrible, and this is outside the box, but I formed an opinion a long time ago about Johnny Depp. I don't like him, hate him, just from movies he was in and things like that. Formed an opinion. I'm like, movies entertaining, yeah, but I bet he's a horrible person. And just the clips or a few little things I've watched, because the Johnny Depp Amber Heard things all over the place. Dude, I'm pulling for him. I mean, I'm pulling for him. I'm like, I like the dude. Don't get me wrong. He's done some things and snorted some things and done some things that I wouldn't do.
Right.
It ain't like what I don't want to go slam my face in a head full of powder with him. I don't want to do that. But as the big whole, being able to see him, see him as him, or I think it's him. Maybe he's just that good of an actor that he's fooling us all now in his next role of being Johnny Depp. I don't know, but the tides have turned. I'm liking Johnny Depp okay now.
Well, I will say, I've heard this said about all of you guys, Travis, you and Nick and Michael, and it's kind of one of my, I guess, goals of what I want to hear people say about me. But I hear people all the time say, I'd love to go hang out and camp with them guys. They look like they're a lot of fun to be with.
Yep.
That's the best compliment you can get, I think.
That honestly, guys, I mean, it's funny you said that, Kevin. It's like you was overhearing some of our conversations, but we're like, that's the barometer. Meaning if people are saying that, and, when we're at events and people are standing in line, to come see us or meet us, and I still can't get over that. I'm like, even this far in, I'm like, I cannot believe somebody's going to stand in line to come shake our hand or something like that. It's so humbling and it's so gratifying. But then they get up there and we talk with them, hug their neck, and they're like, you can tell through TV, they felt like they already knew us to a point where it's okay to come up and talk. And then they feel like family, even though we've never met certain people. And then we, we are who we are, and we don't ever walk away. We stand in line, or, or there for everybody. But they always say like, golly, you're just like you're on TV. And like, it's almost like a surprise. Like, when we're in a position like that, we're supposed to be untouchable or unapproachable, or and that always surprises me. I'm like, honestly, I tell people in seminars all the time, I said, we hate the word pro hunter. We hate that word. We hate the word pro hunter. It's like, we are not professional hunters. Fact of the matter is, if I'm talking to 300 or 400 people, half or more of you guys are probably way better hunters than I am. The only difference is one, we get to go to some really good places. We better be killing some pretty good deer, because we're traveling the country getting to go, and we're spending a lot of time doing it. Whereas most people in the audience, they get 1, maybe 2 days a week to hunt. Whereas we're spending a lot of time going to guided places. We better be able to kill some deer. And there was something else I was going to say, but I say we don't like to be called pro hunters, and they're in the audience. And say that you guys are much better hunters than we are. The only really difference is we've got a camera in our face. It's just being documented. That's it. I mean, we are who we are. And, none of us had 2 nickels to rub together when we graduated high school. It ain't like we was led down this path. And then to add to a point that you mentioned earlier, Michael, talking about, people think they want instant fame, and, like, cause that has sped up time. Your perception is not reality when you're looking on social media, meaning like you think things move real fast. Well, even with all the, fast emails and fast, posts and stuff on social media, things still don't move that fast. You got to wait and see and let things marinate. You guys are a testament to that, meaning like some kid, maybe 17 years old, just got to hunting, and he starts flipping through YouTubes or social medias and comes across Backwoods Life. And he's like, man, I really like these guys. And he starts following, he gets caught up. Well, he thinks like, I want to be that instantly. Cause you get granted, when you guys started, he was just born, so he didn't catch on till 17 years old. So then everybody thinks that it happened like that. They don't realize, looking back on Michael, looking back on me, looking back on Nick, like long before there was ever a camera in my face, man, I got 10 or 12 years under my belt working in the archery shop or going to shoot tournaments every weekend all over the place. So yeah, I was in the outdoor industry. I was doing things 10 or 12 years before the first time I was on camera. Not like that was my destination. I mean, honestly, I just said, I was working for Mercedes-Benz, and I said, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I don't have a family. I don't have a house payment. Now's the time. If I'm going to take a chance and gamble on something, I'm going to do it. So I said, I did it. And I haven't looked back since. I pursued my passion. Now, granted, there was a lot of weeks where we was eating frozen Geno's pizzas and hot dogs, and y'all know what a wish sandwich is, don't you? I know y'all do. Yeah. You take 2 pieces of bread and you put mayonnaise on it, and you wish you had some meat to go on it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of that, but you know what? It didn't really matter, because I didn't dread going to work every day. I was doing something I was passionate about. I was sending people out into the world a better archer or bow hunter than when they walked in the door. And I was happy, man. I'd work 80 hours a week and I was happy. And I'm like, got the bills paid this week. Let's tackle another week. And then doors opened up. I had no aspirations of being on TV at all. I mean, I know people when we was on the archery range and shooting tournaments across the country, I know people looked on to me as, the funny big guy. And that's just me. I didn't know TV was going to come down the line, but you take advantage of it, you embrace it, you move down the line. Just like you guys, when that guy at 17 is looking at you guys, he wants it fast. They don't realize that, there's 20, 25 years under our belt before we got to this point. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh man, golly, that seems like such a long time. Well, look, if you can't wait, it's not a destination, it's a journey. You got to enjoy the journey. Like I've enjoyed every bit of those rough times all the way up till now. Now, granted, it's gotten to a point where we're able to provide for our family good, and we can rest assured. It's like, all right, we know we're going to be in the outdoor industry. It's not like I'm fixing to have to go work in heat and air or something like that. I'm like, we're pretty solidified. We're going to be here for a little while. It's great that we got to that point, but if you're not passionate about it, if the guys want this instant fame and they're like, man, I ain't making no money, but man, I sure do want to hunt for a living. You need to give me money and this, that, and the other. They're in it for the wrong reasons. You got to have it in your heart that like, as long as I can just get by, or somebody will let me borrow a couple of ham sandwiches every week, mm-hmm. I'm going to make it.
And that's the thing. You hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, I was working at Valdosta State University here, not too far from my house, and I worked there for 11 years, and I got an opportunity to work in the outdoor industry. And I remember I was talking to my dad. My dad's old school, man. He worked at the same place. I mean, he just retired a couple of years ago. He just worked. He just, that mentality was you found a job, just like you were talking about Mercedes-Benz, probably a great company to work for, benefits, yep. Blah, 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 blah. It's solid. You know what you're going to get. But I was the same way, a state job, blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't sit there and see myself sitting there until I'm 60, whatever years old to retire. Not that I hated the job or anything. I had good people around me and all that, but it was just like, man, this is not what I was meant to do. And when I got that opportunity, I called my dad and I was telling him what was going on. And I said, this guy, they want me to come work in the outdoor industry and get in the marketing side and this kind of stuff and social media and blah, blah, blah. And he didn't want me to do it. Like he was dead set against it. He was like, I don't, you got a good job, it's state, da, 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 da. I was like, I respect that, Dad, but all I need to know from you really is if I fall flat on my face, do I have a roof over my head? And he said, absolutely. I said, I'm starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And same deal, man. I hadn't looked back, and you work hard, more doors open. You just keep grinding. I know that's Cameron Haynes thing is just keep grinding.
Yeah.
That's a little different, but at the end of the day, it really is. If you want it bad enough and that passion is in you to do something, it don't matter what it is. It ain't got to be outdoor industry related. You can do it. You just got to go try it. You just got to, and you got to understand it's not going to happen overnight, and there's going to be tough days. I mean, Kevin and I can sit here and tell stories about, hey, bro, how you think we're going to be able to pay the bills, period, this week and keep doing what we're chasing this dream. And that's back when we were both working 40+ hour a week jobs, trying to do this as well, and didn't put a dime in our pocket for, I mean, good gosh, 6, 7, maybe 8 years of doing this before that you turn that corner.
Yeah.
But that's all about the work. It's the grind, the hustle.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to say, I saw, yesterday on some social media, somebody posted, you see it all the time. They say, if do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well,
yep.
First of all, I know a lot of people that hate the job they're doing and still never work a day in their life because they're slacking, but if you, even when you're
they're getting that check, they're on that slow drip, that Biden slow drip.
They definitely work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
But even when you do something you love, whenever you read that, people say, oh, you never work a day in your life. Well, the truth is you enjoy what you do, so you don't get tired of it, but you still have to work to build what you're trying to build. It's not a matter of just coasting.
You really work harder every day of your life because you're doing something you really want to do.
Yeah. The passion gets you out of the bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No matter what it is, and you look back, I mean, I'm sure y'all schooling was a lot like ours. And it's weird how clear it is. And we were talking about this the other day. A friend of mine had a conversation. Our generation is growing up in the most transitional era there ever was. Because think about that. Cell phones came along since we've been born, computers, internet, Wi-Fi. I mean, so many things that have really been huge transitions for our society, more so than, even when they invented the wheel or the car. That's just one or two things. And then, we've lived through basically color TV started when I was born and then all the way up till now. So we're living through a lot. I say that looking back on school, even today, my wife's a teacher. The schools don't teach you survival. It's almost programming you, the things that you're learning, to be a 9-to-5er, work 40 hours a week, get on the plan, the safety net, the government safety net of working 40 hours a week to pay your taxes. Because they can count on that person paying their fair share of taxes. And they want you, I guess it's good so that you're programmed to go to work for a company, and then have that safety net. It's like, just like you said, your dad was. My dad was he's a retired fireman. And then my buddy Brian, his dad worked for Delta, the airlines for forever. And it's almost like we're programmed to get that extremely safe job. You don't leave the job. Because once you get, like you was probably, 10 or 12 years in, like you said, it's like, golly, I'm vested pretty hard, man. It's going to be hard to leave this. Whereas it'd been easier if it would have been 2 years, you'd only worked there. So that's the way we're programmed. Whereas like now with YouTube and digital media, and just like you said earlier about making slime videos, my son being 16 or 17, he's into editing and doing things, and he reviews stuff and puts it on his YouTube channel, and I don't talk about that because I don't want folks bugging him within our industry. It's he wants to do it on his own. I want him to do it on, but he's got to be a good editor. And I can see, like you see all the time, he goes, look at this guy, Dad. This guy just right here made $100,000 last month. And I'm like, like how can you tell someone, no, you've got to go to work at Amazon? That's a good job. They got insurance. You got to do this. Whereas there's so many opportunities to do things that you love. And now it's even easier than it ever was. You know, it was a lot harder to go do what you wanted to do, like when we first got started. But now with all the mainstream media, man, people are making money left and right, you know, from, you know, that girl, I'm sure y'all know about this, was something that jaw dropped me or was an eye opener is, you know, that girl that was on Phil, Dr. Phil that said, cash me outside. How about that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the day she turned 18, she started a OnlyFans page and $1.2 million in one day. $1.2 million for an OnlyFans. Now, do y'all know the history of OnlyFans? OnlyFans has turned into porn. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
But you know, it was not started for that. It was for like for our industry, like archery OnlyFans. It's meaning OnlyFans, meaning like you join. It's a way for like us to make money. Like you're only going to watch archery content on here, but it got sleazy real quick, and you know, so that's where it ended up. But nonetheless, it makes me think about getting undressed for a little bit of change. Hello.
I was thinking.
I was wondering if you were breaking news to us there, Travis.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you get more. I can think of so many promotional things. You get more skin for your dollar over here at, you know, T-Bone's OnlyFans. You know, there's got to be a niche out there for you know, big guys that are 50 years old, right?
Bro, look. So we go to our hunting lease a lot, and my wife goes over there a lot. Of one of our friends, and so it's two women having conversation with me driving all the time. We don't have enough time in the podcast to go through all the women conversations that I have to submit myself to, but they got on this Insta Feet. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
It's a thing. It's a huge website where people buy feet pictures.
Well, I mean, it don't surprise me. I've not heard of it, but it don't surprise me.
They started looking into this thing, and it's a whole thing. And I'm just sitting here like, well, what y'all? We riding down the road. Let's go ahead, y'all crank up a couple of accounts, start hanging them things out the window and snapping some pictures, making some money. You know what? I mean, if it's just your feet, but the point of what you said, yes, there's probably somebody out there that would jump all over anything that you can come up with to put on there. That's just the world we live in today. It's crazy.
It might be one of those train wreck things. Like, it's like, man, I don't see this, but I gotta see it. Man, I don't. All right, here, I'm gonna click. I'm gonna pay that $6.99. Here we go. I gotta see it.
I'm gonna be the one that's like, for every $6.99, I'm putting something back on. You got to pay me to put it back on.
Yeah, exactly. So if y'all hear about me buying a huge piece of land somewhere out west, and that happens about the same time frame, y'all know how I'm trying to pay for it.
I got you. I don't hate, man. Just throw us an invite to come hunting every once in a while.
Exactly.
We'll subscribe too. Well, man, Travis, I appreciate your time, man. I know we've probably gone on a good bit here. Really, I think we just end this thing on a positive note there. Travis is going to start that onlyfans.com. I think that'd be something for everybody to look forward to. And if it goes really well, I'm sure me and Kevin will follow suit. So we may do two guys at once, but we'll be on opposite sides of the pond. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a better way to model or display a Realtree thong. I really don't know of a better way.
Some things you just can't unsee.
I know it.
Exactly, man. Well, brother, thank you for your time today. Happy Memorial Day weekend, by the way. We do want to give a shout out to Monday, or actually this whole weekend, to be honest with you. I know Monday's Memorial Day, but everybody, please take time and remember all those that have made the ultimate sacrifices and deep sacrifices for our country, as we did hit on for a minute. So we would not be here without generations of men and women who have made those sacrifices for us.
Absolutely.
So happy Memorial Day weekend to you, brother. Thank you for being on here with us. Hopefully we'll cross paths in the very near future. I know we live in the same state and don't ever see each other. So,
It's a big state. We're a long ways apart.
that's for sure, man. That's for sure. Keep fighting the good fight, brother. We know, I know everything's going in positive for you. If you need us for anything, we're always here to help. I know you got thousands, literally from social media, from what we see and the comments and the people supporting, this journey. You got probably hundreds of thousands of people pushing you along, man. And
Very blessed, man. We're all very blessed. Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you guys having me on, and you guys keep up the great work. And we always stay in touch with a direct message or a text from time to time, but you can always, if anything you need on my part, just let me know. And we're just going to keep flying the outdoor flag, man, smiling all the way. So, and Kevin, we didn't even touch base on this, but Kevin lives down there in Florida. My wife is from right there near where he's from. So all my in-laws live down that way. So I've been down there, a couple times every year and have yet to run into him. We always talk about Aiken's restaurant, the barbecue restaurant that we all attend. And I haven't even bumped into Kevin yet, but I'll have to make it a point to call him up and let's go share a sweet tea and some pit cook barbecue.
Yeah, I always tell you when you get down here to see the in-laws, let me know. I'll go buy you breakfast at Aiken's, but you ain't called me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my father-in-law, he's usually the first one there. He's there so regularly. There's a lot of times he'll start the coffee before the employees even get there.
That's good. Well, guys, I appreciate both y'all's time. You too, Kevin. Y'all just keep working hard. Everybody get out in the woods, shoot your bows, just do everything that we've said in this podcast, and you'll be successful in life. That's what we're here for, to motivate, not conjugate. So thank y'all again. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, fellas.
Yes, sir.